So hi everybody. So we're just going to wait till a few people join us. In the meantime, I'll sort of talk about some general stuff going on. I'm here in the Virginia area, and right now Maryland has always been a little bit step ahead of Virginia, and they have given the like a curfew kind of stay-at-home order, um, and so. I think that we're behind New York by a few weeks. So if New York is heading up, it's coming our way. So it makes sense that the governors and the mayors are taking evasive action. And for people who are still not feeling it and can't understand what the dilemma is all about, I think that it's going to hit home very soon because things are exponentially going up in terms of the number of deaths and the number of hospitalizations. So we're going to be talking about inflammation today, which I think would be relevant more as much for the preventative, as much for getting over the infection, and then, who is it that ends up in the ICU and problems like that. So I think it's important to take the precautionary steps that we've talked about. Washing hands is probably the most important thing. I think the most important thing I can do is when I come home, I go wash my hand right away, try to get my outside clothes off and get into my home clothes, things like that. So it's waiting for a few more people to come on board, and then we're going to, try to talk about inflammation and use an example of what's going on in Italy. A lot of things that we're learning right now is based on other people's experiences, and that's pretty smart, really. You don't want to find out after the fact, especially when things are happening and they're telling you what's coming. And a tsunami is a great word because, on the surface it just looks like a calm wave, but the real momentum is coming from the tsunami that's about to come. And, some of the speculation about deaths, whether it's in the millions or hundreds of thousands, it really doesn't matter. I think at the end of the day, we should take control of what we can do, and then we'll see what happens. So I'm going to make a few bold statements. I usually use the word inflammatory because I'm usually very opinionated. I'm trying to be as diplomatic as possible, but I'm going to be able to say a few things because the things I was thinking is actually being spoken of now. So now is a great time for me to be a little bit more opinionated. So we're waiting a few more minutes. And let's see here, it's just a couple of minutes have gone by, so let's give it another minute. But just talking generally about inflammation, because we are going to be talking about inflammation. Can anyone think of an inflammation that's good? It's a trick question. The answer is no. There is no inflammation that's good. Unless you got a smart aleck that's going to tell me that an acute inflammation from a sprained ankle is good. I'm talking about chronic inflammation. I'm talking about the majority of inflammation that is not good. So an acute injury is a response that the body has to make to recover. I get that. We're going to be talking about chronic inflammation. And some of the inflammation that you're aware of, some that you may not be aware of. There are ways to check it on certain labs. Certain labs show you inflammation in the blood. Certain labs are indirectly a marker of inflammation. But I'm going to start off by